Parting is such sweet sorrow, at least sometimes. Saturday's home finale likely the final time the Iowa Western football team will match up with the North Dakota State College of Science Wildcats, at least for the foreseeable future. Would the Reavers tame the Wildcats, or would there be a big cat sighting? Call Animal Planet. You never know what you're going to get if that was the case. We'll check out the highlights and more. You've got the Coach Stroh Show. It's right here on CBTV Channel 17. Well, you blink and it is over. The home season for the Iowa Western football team wrapping up against North Dakota State College of Science on Pink Out Day. Of course, brought to you by the Colleges Against Cancer for breast cancer awareness, and also Sophomore Day for a big group of sophomores that will play their final game on the turf at Titan Stadium. Coach, I know that their story has yet to be concluded, but what do you take out of this year's group of sophomores? What do they mean to this team?
Well, I think, to be 9-1 and lose how many we lost last year, and these guys, played a big part in last season's success, but a lot of question marks coming into the year and responded pretty well. 21-1 over their 2 seasons. Let's take a look at the highlights as the Wildcats came to town. North Dakota State College of Science, perhaps for the final time for quite some time. You never know. They announced last week that, of course, they will be moving to the Minnesota Conference next year. You guys, again, get them the ball early in your home blacks, and you're looking pretty good, pretty sharp to start this game off. We did, obviously, come out. We wanted to play a little bit of the field position with the wind, and it worked out for us. They're getting interceptions short field. Yeah, and one of the few interceptions that we will see on the day. Here's a pass that gets inside the 5, and again, the Wildcats come up big on this one, but it's an early blip on the radar because it was on the ground already. Exactly. I wasn't really sure. I didn't see it until I just seen the official point down, but they were celebrating. We get it back and get into the end zone. Yeah, half of them were off the field, and by the time they got back on, Antoine Gilbert from 4 yards in goes in for the touchdown, 7-0 quickly. Yeah, and it's crucial for us in a depleted team like the last couple we played to get on them early, and we're playing pretty well here. How about this hit by Cody Polk here? Comes across the middle and makes sure that the receiver can't bring it down on the tip drill. Yeah, well, like I said, it was good defense. We came out and Cody made a huge play there. He makes another one later in the game, but had a really good day. Nice job there by Connor getting out of pressure, throwing it on the run, completing it downfield. Here's another shot toward the sideline, and a big day, the start of it anyway, for #1 Geronimo Allison. He did. Like I said, for Connor and Geronimo, both sophomores, and to play their last game here, it was good to see them have big days. And it was the Antoine Gilbert show early. He gets the start, taking advantage, gets the first 2 touchdowns on the board. Yeah, well, and it was really good to get some of those run game going. We weren't sure what they were going to do, if they were going to change up. They did a little bit from the first time we played, but our guys did well up front. Their sophomore quarterback Josh Hansana hitting their running back Marquis Dobbs there. Already 1 interception on the day, and as Hansana is under pressure, sacked here on the play. And again, the Reaver front 4 has really been getting pressure on opposing quarterbacks. They have. Trevon Young had a heck of a day. They could not block. He's just so athletic, and causes a couple big ones, or gets a sack tackle for loss, and then forces him to throw a pick. Yep, from 47, or at the 47, it is Cody Polk that returns his 2nd INT of the year for a touchdown. This one goes 53 yards in all, 21-0 midway through the first quarter. Yeah, it was a huge start. They're to the point now where they're like, I don't know if we can continue to, we're not going to win. We just kind of put them out of it right away. And here's another missed snap there as it goes all the way back. This is a new quarterback. You guys knocked the other guy out of the game, Josh Hansana. We hope he's okay, but he was unable to come back. So it's Jared Etienne, who hadn't seen action since the 2nd game of the season. It showed a little bit there during the game as well. He wasn't in sync. A lot of errant passes, and we ended up getting a few of them.
Here's another one across the middle and from the arm of Connor Brevard, and another first down for the Reavers. You guys racked those up on the day as well.
Big play. I think that was George Seal, another second-year guy. I guess he's not a sophomore, but he redshirted last year. But a big day for George. Made some big catches as well.
How about this catch by Antoine Gilbert? We thought for sure that one was going to be overthrown. It was right at your sideline, but Antoine adjusts and makes the catch and gets it for a big gain.
Yeah, I mean, we're moving the ball, we're completing, we're being efficient on early downs. I think that's really what's helping our offense right now.
Close range again. You hand off this time to Antoine, and he loses the football. Good news, though, you get it right back and still have it here in the second quarter, and you'll get another shot at the end zone.
Yeah, it was no defender caused that. That's just mishandling of the ball, but luckily we got it back.
And Kyle Stevenson will score his first touchdown as a Reaver from 5 yards out. Not a bad little run for number 34.
Well, and it was good. Last week he got in some action, but he hasn't been taking a ton of reps with the varsity guys. It was just because of injuries and some other things. He was stepped into getting some reps.
North Dakota trying to establish the run, and they could not get anything going. You see them swarmed under there. Etienne trying to fake to keep some of those players off, but they end up turning the ball back over to you guys, and up 28-0, you march down the field again.
Yeah, and they couldn't get anything going. Our front on both sides of the ball really controlled the line of scrimmage all day.
Another run here, this time Connor Brevard basically untouched. He runs through some holes created by his teammates, and Reavers now up 28 and add another one, 34-0. Add that extra point, and it's 35-zip.
Surprised maybe a few. We don't generally run Connor like that. That's a play that Tay runs quite a bit, but Connor, he was happy to get one.
I'm sure he was. Not a bad little run. So you go into the break up 35 points. What were your impressions of the first half?
I felt we played pretty well. Got up on them early. There was a couple times maybe where some penalties stopped some of our drives, but please just wanted us to finish the thing off in the second half and let some other guys, let the guys go for a few series and then let some other guys get some time.
All right, sophomore day and the pink out will continue. When we come back, we'll take a look at those second half highlights and find out what adjustments, if any, the coaching staff made at halftime. 35-zip, you're watching the highlights and more here on the Coach Stroh Show, CCTV Channel 17.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. Since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
The Coach Stroh Show continues here from the Hall of Fame room on the campus of Iowa Western in Council Bluffs. Reaver Hall of Fame room, of course, used during basketball and wrestling events, volleyball events for Reaver boosters. And also, here is our temporary set as the set of CBTV 17 is upgraded to HD, baby. You'll be able to see every pore on our faces come next week, and we're looking forward to that. I'm sure maybe you aren't, but we definitely are, Coach. I mean, you never know. You get that better complexion just because you can see better on TV sometimes than you can in the mirror.
I hope so. I hope it works.
I don't think it's ever been described that way before. No. So 35-0, the third-ranked Reavers lead the Wildcats of Indy SCS at the half. What did you talk to the guys about at halftime?
Well, I think the big thing is we just wanted to shore up and make sure that we're staying. It's 35-0. It wasn't that. It was kind of a quiet locker room. With the enthusiasm probably wasn't there as much as it has been in the past. Want to make sure we finish off the remaining 30 minutes and get some other guys some opportunities, some of the other sophomores who don't get all the time, to get them out on the field their last day. It
was sophomore day and the pink out. Let's take a look at those second half highlights here in Council Bluffs. Iowa Western again leading 35-0 to start the second half. The Iowa Western marching band honored at half the sophomores were, as well as the cheerleaders and dance team. And you start the second half and you go deep, and guess what? A completion to start things off it was not too difficult to move the football on Saturday.
No, it wasn't, you know, and the wind right there, without the wind, that's probably a touchdown, you know, but it was tough against the wind, but it was a good start to the second half.
Similar play to Antoine dropping the football. Connor just putting it on the ground, gets it back again, and you guys continue to drive.
We have to continue to be a little bit more cautious with the football, you know, in a 35-0 ball game. We got them back, but you know, it's not the way we want to start it.
And that one resulted in a turnover on downs. They get the ball back, and number 5, Claude Garrett, the guy that they were going to all day long, breaks it. And I was amazed by his speed after catching the ball. He really turned it on that play. A heck of a play by number 5.
He is. He's a good player. You know, we knew about him coming out of high school and looked at him, but not the start of the second half that we wanted us to go 3 and out or go out on downs and then them get a big one. But you know, we'll fight back.
Makes the score 35-7. They try a little bit of a squib kick to start things after that, and you guys get the recovery, and then again continuing to march at 35-7. The guys have to have seen that touchdown and wanted to answer.
Well, and that was my thing, because like I said, I felt we were a little flat at halftime, and then we come out and we get a big play, but then go it on downs and give up a big play. That's not the start, but we answer back.
Austin
here.
White is the man that gets the carry there. You guys do end up going for the field goal on 4th down, and Danny Hamilton knocks it through, one of the many that he would have in the second half. Here's Brevard on the next one after another North Dakota Science turnover. They had 7 interceptions total on the day, and you guys get it right back.
Well, credit to our D-line, and also obviously in our secondary and the backers who covered well. You know, we got some turnovers, and there we see Dan Hamilton had another good day, kicked home another one.
Well, 41-7 at that point, and here's a little bit of a mishandled snap. Connor reacts quickly and gets it into the hands of Gmo, his favorite target on the day.
Well, then we're kind of lucky there, because that's kind of a timing play, and to still be open on that one after you drop it, we're kind of lucky there.
There's another one of those plays, and again squeezing it in quickly, and Geronimo on the day put his name into 5th place on the single game receiving yards. 5th place, the guy ahead of him, Dion Long, in all 4 positions. Those are going to be hard records to break.
They are. I mean, like I said, he had a one special season there last year, but Geronimo, for, you know, being where he was at last year and really now coming in and taking the lead man, is having a really nice year.
You guys take a shot at the end zone there, come up empty, and Danny Hamilton on yet again, and yet again he knocks it through the uprights, kicking against the wind here in the 3rd quarter.
I mean, a heck of a job, from a snap to a hold to the kick against the wind, to be, you know, as accurate as he is against the wind. That's huge.
He set the single game record here as you guys get another interception, this time down the far sideline. He set the single game points record for kickers last week at 19. This week he ends up getting 24 to surpass it.
Well, I think he leads the country now, you know, in points, but it's a nice weapon to have. You know, there's times, you know, in close games where you need 3, and it's good to have him on our side.
Tate Bender getting the touchdown. Talk about a bulldozing type run. He drugged 4 defenders in with him into the end zone.
Yeah, and it was good to see, you know, a physical style run for him, and you know, that's really what we want out of those plays.
ATN with the hard sell there, hands off, and a short game. Again, they tried to establish the running game, just could not get it going all day long, and it was good for the Reaver defense, that's for sure. The dark side had them controlled.
We did. We dominated them up front, and anytime you do that, and then you force them to throw the ball the way they had to in the second, you're bound to get some interceptions. And so we really had control of it from start to finish.
Another field goal here after Austin White takes it down inside the 10 on another long run. Good second half for him after he was forced to sit the first half for a violation of team rules, but he comes on and really gets it done in the second half.
Well, you know, it was good. It was good to see. You know, we were playing, you know, in that first half with the guys who don't take all of our first team reps, and that was part of it. And then in the second half, you know, we got to do a better job in the red zone, and it was nice to have him come back and spark us, because he's taken a lot of the reps during practice, but got to do a better job in the red zone.
Saw James Garlock. He leads the way on the day with 2 interceptions. He had 5 others, including Max Weber, who was lightly used on the season, but it was good to see him go ahead and get an interception as well.
We got a couple of them actually. Nick Shannon was a sophomore,
right, yeah.
and he got one, and Nash Stopko is a sophomore, and he got one as well. So, and they didn't get a ton of plays, but when they got in there, they made the most of them. So
Absolutely.
it was neat.
Max Weber was last week, wasn't
yes,
it?
He had the touchdown.
Yeah, Nick Shannon and I know Nash and all those guys.
Jamie Bird had one, I think. Garlock and Jenkins.
Garlock had 2. He leads the team now with 4. So it was a pretty good game defensively. I know Coach Blackburn walked by my office the other day, and I've got the score posted out there. He's like, 2 games, man. That's all that they got us. Other than that, we're under control. So I know he's got to be trying to get those shutouts to come in those lowering score games. I know it's making him happy. Well,
for sure. Like I said, I mean, they had, I think, 160 yards of offense, and they had 80 in one play or something like that long touchdown. So to go 4 quarters and really keep them under 100 yards is pretty darn good. Yeah, and you look at those final stats of the game. Austin White over 100 yards in one half of play. Geronimo Allison over 150 yards receiving. No passing touchdowns, though, and that was, I believe, the first time that's happened since the first North Dakota State College game. And that game was, of course, played the Puddle Bowl. Yeah. And before that, it was the national championship game where Jake Waters, for only the second time, I believe, in his Reaver career, did not throw a touchdown. So it's a rare occurrence to not have a touchdown passing on the board. Well, and we had opportunities. I think part of that was with the game the way it was. I wouldn't say that we were a little bit more, passive in our play calling, but we should have probably got a couple of them. I didn't know that statistic, but in the third and fourth quarter, though, we had 4 or 5 field goals. We were in the red zone opportunities, but just didn't come away with them. But we're going to need them in the future. 6 Danny Hamilton field goals. He notches 24 points in the game. The Reavers win 60-7, and they put the Wildcats to bed for perhaps the final time in school history. I'm sure a long ways in the future you may see them again. They're headed to that Minnesota League, but it was good to leave with a victory. Only loss to them was in the very first game back in 2009. Pretty good way to finish out that series. You had to bring that one back too, didn't you? Hey, 6 wins since then is a pretty good stat, though. Yeah, we have, and that one we had opportunity to win right at the last. It would have put us probably in a bowl game in year number 1, but needed another inch on Kivas Streeter that year. That's for sure. Exactly, we weren't getting it from him, just a little bit too short. Well, the show continues next. When we return, Coach and I will take a break, and IWTV student Aaron Zack will be by with linebacker Cody Polk. Sunshine, as I'm sure he loves to be called because of those long blonde locks. He'll be right here in the chair along with Aaron Zack when we return. You've got the Coach Stroh Show on CBTV Channel 17.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Let's switch to Energy Star light bulbs and stop burning through cash. Saving energy saves you money.
I see it!
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to the Coach Stroh Show here on CBTV 17. I'm Aaron Zack, joined by the Reavers defensive linebacker, Clay Matthews. Oh, my bad, Cody Polk. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little how you came to Iowa Western to play for the Reavers.
I just had some small opportunities out of high school, and I knew Coach Stroh and the staff were a bunch of good guys, and they could get me where I wanted to go. And my head coach, kind of knew Coach Stroh, so this is why I ended up here.
Well, you're having an outstanding year so far. You lead the team in tackles with 70. Can I get your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the defensive line they take up all the blocks, so it's just free running. I mean, it's making tackles when it's easy to make a tackle when nobody's trying to block you. So
what goes through your mind before you step on the field?
Just that you only get so many times to play football, so you got to make the best of it, and when something comes up, make the play.
Well, you had an outstanding game Saturday. You had 7 tackles, 2 interceptions, one of them of which you returned all the way back 53 yards for a touchdown. Could I get your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the defensive line brought a lot of pressure, so it was a wobbly ball in the air, and I just having to make a good play on the ball, and then everybody's blocking downfield, so they didn't have to really do much to score, so it was nice.
So did you do a little touchdown dance in the end zone?
Yeah, my adrenaline was pumping, so that's what kind of happened there. Yeah.
Well, it's getting that time of year again where everyone is getting scholarship offers. You currently have one to the University of New Mexico. Have you gotten any more offers from any other colleges?
Yeah, Old Dominion, Georgia State, and North Dakota State.
What are you still weighing your options, or?
Yeah, I'm still weighing my options right now. It all depends on what else comes through. Or, take my officials and see what happens from there.
What do you guys do in practice to make your defense so dominant? Because you guys have been unbeatable so far, except for one game the entire season. I mean, last year undefeated. This year only lost one game. I mean, it's unreal.
Yeah. Coach Blackburn just draws up great defensive schemes every week for us to go out and just play fast and physical, and he always has something new in practice, so it just doesn't get tedious every week, and we're doing the same thing over and over. We're doing something different every single week, so it's fun. Bring something new to practice every day.
Now, I just recently learned that you have a little nickname. Sunshine, is it?
Yeah. From a member of the Titans, everybody thinks I look like the quarterback, so they call me Sunshine. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts going into the final home game or final game of the season?
I think we're ready. We're all hungry to do what we can do to win out, and just control what we can control and see where the polls take us for whether we're going to end up in the national championship game or not.
Well, Cody, thank you for joining me today. I wish you the best of luck in the rest of the season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
When we return, the voice of the Reavers, Jake Ryan, sits down with Coach Strohmeyer to talk about next Saturday's game. We'll be right back.
It's not his new group of friends, the video games, or the neighborhood.
Mom, do I have to go to school today?
The biggest threat to your child's future could be you. Every day they miss puts their graduation at risk.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks. Visit us at stoptextstoprex.org.
We are back to wrap up the show this week again in the Reaver Hall of Fame room on the campus of Iowa Western in Council Bluffs. The Coach Stroh Show, obviously, with the head coach, Scott Strohmeyer. Coach, this week you head in for the final MFC football game for the foreseeable future. What do you think of the progression that this league has seen since you come in? Obviously, when Iowa Western was going to start the program, it was a 10-team league. By the time you got started, it was a 9-team league. Then it was an 8-team league, and then all of a sudden it went from 8 to 5, and now it's pretty much non-existent. The Iowa schools, the only teams that will play each other next season. I
mean, it's really kind of sad. Not so much that the MFC is gone. It's the fact that community colleges dropped football, and you know, we need those teams. It hurts us in travel and trying to find games, and you want to give kids opportunities that maybe don't have the opportunity at the four-year schools to be able to play and get a good education, or some kids that maybe don't want to go to a 4-year but willing to go to a 2-year. So it's kind of, you know, it's sad from that standpoint, but exciting for the changes that we have now, you know, of going and being able to play all the Kansas schools next year. So you know, bittersweet, I guess. You know, I've always coached in the MFC. I mean, as a head coach, in my, you know, this being my second stop here, so it'll be kind of a little bit different for sure, but exciting at the same time. Absolutely, you'll get to know those highways in Kansas real well next season. That's for sure. So you look at Rock Valley gone after year 1 of Reaver football, and then Harper Joliet going down. The lone JUCO left in Illinois that still plays football is DuPage, and that's where we'll travel this weekend. Glen Ellen, Illinois, 33-0 the first time around in Titan Stadium. They have won 4 straight. They sit at 6-2 on the year and are number 20 in this week's NJCAA poll. So it'll be the second time this season you match up against a ranked team, although if you look at those standings now, Trinity Valley has climbed out of the doldrums that they took on at last year, not even ranked coming in, but they're number 10 now. So you look at your schedule, pretty good schedule, and you get a solid team to try to win the MFC title outright here in the last season. Well, for sure, and that's the thing about this league is, there's always, it comes down, seems like that last week almost every year. If it was us beating Ellsworth to win it, the region championship, I think a couple years in a row, the last game of the year. Now it comes down to us, playing DuPage. They're improved. I look at it, it was 13-0 at half. They played us well the first time we played them, and we ended up getting 20 in the third quarter on them to put it 33-0. But it's a good football team, and they're much more improved. We got to be ready to go.
You've got a big talent pool to pull from in Illinois, that's for sure. And they'll be trying to prove something too, that they belong in the top 20 poll. So what do you anticipate? Have you seen anything that they've done lately? It's kind of an interesting dynamic in the MFC because it's almost like teams don't score a lot unless they're playing you. You know what I'm saying? Like and they don't even score that much. It's last week I think they beat Iowa Central 16-3.
Yep.
So they're struggling offensively.
They are, and the Iowa Central game, there was some turnovers in that game. The North Dakota game was close. It was up in North Dakota, bad field conditions. I don't know. Maybe they're just instead of preparing for those other teams, they're preparing for us. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? But it's so hard because, like I said, when you beat a team, like we've beaten some of them, they're obviously going to change some things, and so we're it's a guessing game for us. Even last week, North Dakota did some things that we didn't. We had to adjust, on the fly. They didn't show it on film, but they're going to make some adjustments against us. So it took us out of some things, and that's what we're seeing now is teams are changing a lot against us. And like I said, it's a guessing game. I'm glad that we don't have to go through the play each other twice scenario anymore because it's not as much fun.
And we should say they've only scored 30 points against the Reavers combined in 7 games. So it's not like they're scoring. It just seems like they're just not getting it done on offense, and it's more of a defensive league this year, I guess you could say. Is the all-around look, are the talent players, are the skill players not there for these other ball clubs this year?
They're not. I don't think really anybody. This one, in DuPage might have the best take out Iowa Western. They might have the best quarterback around. The other teams, the quarterback play in our league has been extremely poor, and I don't know what that is. If they don't have the right players, if it's the offense or whatever they're doing, but it starts there. And the skill guys, they got some good skill guys, but they're just not. A lot of these teams aren't able to get the guys to get it to them or protect for them to get it to them. And we got some depth on the D line, but that's why I think some of the scores are close amongst the other schools.
Well, should be a heck of a ball game. The deep dish pizza will taste much better with that MFC trophy along for the ride as well.
For sure, that's what we're shooting for.
All right, there you go. The game on Saturday will be a 1 o'clock kickoff. You can tune in to 897theriver.com and 897 The River at 12 noon for the pregame. If you'd like to watch the game, that will be on approximately 15 minutes before kickoff with the ihigh.com feed, and you can log on again to ihigh.com/IWCC, the final game for the Reavers in the MFC. And then, of course, off until bowl season, and won't know who you're playing in that until you, first of all, wrap up this week's game, and second of all, watch the rest of the dominoes fall, we hope, so to speak. So it's going to be a good month of November, and hopefully the Reavers are preparing for a premier bowl game when it's all said and done. Thank you again to the IWTV students for setting up shop here in the Reaver Hall of Fame room. Right behind me is the quilt that you can win, a fundraiser for the Reaver Quarterback Club. And if you'd like information, contact the coach, or you can show up to the QB clubs. We do them every other Tuesday at Pizza King in Council Bluffs. More information, email coach, email me, jryan@iwcc.edu. Thanks again to the students for setting things up, and of course CBTV 17 for making this happen. It is the Coach Stroh Show. Thanks to Coach, thanks to linebacker Cody Polk, and thanks to Aaron Zach for helping to make today's show possible. And thanks to you for tuning in here on CBTV 17. Once again, for the Coach Stroh Show, I'm Jake Ryan, and as always, wear blue, be loud, and go Reavers.